I worked full-time and I was a senior carer within a care home looking after people with learning difficulties. I had a very active social life. I used to visit the gym 3 times a week. I used to go swimming twice a week. I was an active member of the family and looking forward to being a grandparent. I'd actually promised my daughter-in-law that when they had a child, I would consider giving up work and retiring to be able to look after the child while she continued her profession. On the day that it happened, it was on the 31st of December 2010, and I was at work. I'd been working for an hour or two and I didn't feel well, and I happened to mention to one of my colleagues that I felt really distant and I couldn't put my finger on it at all. My brain wasn't functioning fully. I couldn't focus properly and I couldn't concentrate, so I asked a colleague to take over and check what I'd done and make sure it was right. And then I rung home and Patricia came to pick me up, that's my wife, came to pick me up from work and brought me home. Came in from work and sat down on the settee. As far as I know, I stood up, thinking that I had to get the remote control for the television, and that's when I realised that I had no left arm and no left leg. I didn't realise fully at the time that I'd had a stroke. I just lost the use of my arm and leg.
I managed to get him in the car, still not thinking about a stroke, because he was such a fit man. And I got him into the car and we got him to hospital, and it was only when the doctor said, whether it was his heart or whether it was a stroke, I realised, and then I saw his left side of his face went a little. I realised then it was a stroke, and I thought my world had come to an end then.
It was somewhat distressing to suddenly realise that I couldn't live the active life that I'd been living. I felt that I'd lost everything, that I didn't know how to go about regaining what I had before. I couldn't drive a car again because I wouldn't have the vision fully to be able to do that, which meant that I couldn't get to my daughter-in-law to look after my grandchild, which I'd promised to do. It meant that I couldn't get out and about during the day. Certainly wasn't going back to work. It really brought the whole of my active life to an end. I've sat here and, well, I've considered, you know, how do I get through a day? You know, where do I go? How do I get out and about? When you've had a stroke, you suddenly feel detached from all of social life and wonder how you're going to regain that.
When he came home, he didn't want to meet anybody. He didn't want to see anybody. He didn't want to do anything. Going out in the car was a real burden to Harry. He didn't want to know anything about anybody. He couldn't see a future at all. Harry had to be dressed, washed. He couldn't do anything. He used a commode. I had to get him onto the commode. Every single basic thing had to be done. I used to get phone calls for me to go home. I had to come home and see to him. That stopped abruptly once personal health budget came in. And nobody can believe the difference. It sounds quite remarkable to say that's when it happened, but it did happen like that.
From coming out of hospital and sat here wondering, what does life hold for me? My God, you know, I'm looking out of a window and that's as far as it goes. I'm now looking to the future and saying, I can participate in the family life. I can join in various things. I mean, I can get out and about. The personal health budget helped me buy a membership to a gym which included swimming, and it helped me then pay for a swimming instructor to work with me in working with the disabled, in walking in the water, using my arms in the water, etc. Now I can go to the gym, I can meet friends again, I can sit and have a coffee with them, we can chat, and it brings me back into a social group where I can actually talk about things, discuss things, and it includes me in them. And recently I've bought myself some physio, which has been really constructive. Through being able to buy in private physio, I have actually achieved that little bit more, and it's pushing me that little bit further to the point where I'm looking to the future to get my left arm back into a working position. I'd love to be able to use a knife and fork properly. At the moment I can't lift my arm up. You can see I can get my hand to my mouth, or virtually. So we're progressing with it. Slowly but surely we're making progress, and it gives me an incentive to push forward, to look at, what's the next step, where can we go, what can we do. And I've done this through the personal health budget because it's given me an opportunity to actually plan for me, rather than just being told by a physio what I need to do and how I need to do it. I can actually plan constructively what I would like to do and how I would like to achieve it. New leaves coming on the aces.
Harry is now gardening, he's pruning, he's going out, washing windows outside. 6 months ago,
inside.
And inside. 6 months ago, I would have never ever thought this would have happened so quickly. Things are just getting back to normal. He never washed the windows before, so this is great. And garden? Yes, he did garden before, but now he is pruning, he's sweeping up in the garden. We just look as though we're going to have a lot of happiness in the future. Harry will be able to do a lot more for himself.
It's given me in a sense, the tools in which to be able to get back into society, which I thought when I came home from hospital I'd had wrenched from me. I'd literally had it all taken away. So I've got a fantastic grandson now, and I'm looking forward to the time when I can get down on one knee and play with him. And I wouldn't have contemplated things like that, say 6 months ago.